put a strain on my relationship with my baby daddy, James. They did not like each other. Taylor didn't like James because she saw him for who he truly was, and James didn't like Taylor because she took attention away from him. In 3 weeks of me starting my relationship, James got into a relationship with another girl. Let's call her Gwen. She's very important to this portion of the story. Couple weeks into their relationship, James comes up to me and asks if he can move Gwen into the house. At this point, I was not aware of the absurdity of the situation. Baby daddy asking me if he can move his girlfriend of 2 weeks into the house that we both share together while raising 2 children together. Sounds crazy when you say it out loud. Keep up. I said yes because ever since me and Taylor started dating, Gwen was the only thing that made James happy. I genuinely just wanted to see my best friend happy. That was it. On June/July of 2020, Gwen moves into the house. Fast forward to August of 2020, my social media success has propelled us to a point where I've saved up enough money to be able to afford to pay for James's top surgery. It's been something he had been looking for his whole life, and he actually broke down in tears when I made the video about it. It was one of the greatest moments of my life, seeing how happy they were to have this lifetime achievement and the weight of these 2 things that they were carrying that they did not identify with. I saw how much of an important milestone it was for them, which made it all more confusing when they detransitioned. We'll talk more about that later. September/October 2020 rolls around, and here's where the story gets a little messy. I got into a really bad fight with Taylor one night, and she was contemplating if she wanted to stay in the relationship or leave. James was very much still in a relationship. I was downstairs to my room one night, and I started to open up to him about some of the problems that was going on in my relationship. He started telling me about the problems that he was experiencing with Gwen, and for the first time in my life, I cheated. Me and James had been in a 10-year relationship, and not once had I ever cheated. It was one of the lowest points in my life, and I remember being incredibly disgusted with myself, not only for the hurt that I caused, but because I always prided myself on being a loyal person. I take full responsibility for my actions. But what was a low moment for me was just another example of James using me when he wanted me for his purposes, and then just discarding me when I didn't have that use. 2 weeks later, he breaks up with Gwen and drives her back to the state that she lived in. Fast forward to October 2020. James is single. I'm in a relationship with Taylor when we find out that Taylor has to have brain surgery. On November 2020, Taylor gets scheduled for brain surgery. At this time, me and Taylor had only been dating for a total of about 6 months, but we were very serious. Sometime after her surgery, we got into a big blow-up fight that resulted in me getting hung up on. I started venting to James about some of the things that she told me that troubled me, and he took every single one of those words and twisted them. At the end of our talk, James had me feeling like Taylor didn't even care about me. Later that night,